Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another ad hoc edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. Yes, I'm just coming back from walking the dog in the park and my mind is racing, so I thought I'd make a quick video. Okay, so I wanted to ask the question, I was going to say communism. No, is socialism or capitalism best for Africa? Which one is best, do you think? Which way do you think Africa should go in the future? And which one do you think Africa would thrive under? It's a good question, and one that I've been pondering for quite some time. So I'm going to get stuck into this, but first I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share, and click the bell notification. Now, I bet you're wondering who were the two guys on the thumbnail. Well, those two are two Ethiopian Airlines pilots who were flying flight number 302 out of Addis Ababa on March the 10th, 2019. The captain was Yared Getachew and his first officer was Ahmed Noor, two very young pilots who on that day did something which I think is the epitome of what Africans are capable of doing. So they flew out of Addis Ababa, and the aircraft that they were flying had an engineering problem, and this aircraft started flying towards the ground at full speed with 200 passengers on board. And these two young pilots did everything in their power to solve this mathematical and engineering equation that they had thrown at them whilst they were doing 500 miles an hour towards the desert, trying to do everything in their power to save the 200 people on board. And they almost got it. Matter of fact, they solved the equation and managed to pull out, but whilst they were pulling out of this dive, it was too late and they hit the ground and everybody else on the flight passed away. So incredible that these two young pilots were able to do what they did in that situation. I'll tell you one other thing which is also equally just as astonishing: the fact that the aircraft manufacturer Boeing, which is an American company, they knew about the problem. They already knew about the problem, and they calculated it into the aircraft's overall profits and realized that, hey, this airplane is only going to crash due to this problem only once every 50 years or so. So if it's going to crash once, we have to mitigate our profits with the amount of money that we're going to pay out to the families of the ones who die in there. They knew it was going to happen. That's capitalism. Does something strike you as wrong? Because American corporate companies, all corporate companies, they all act this way. They all act this way. But what is best for Africa? Should we have these types of people controlling our companies in Africa, our oil? You know, should we have these types of companies controlling where this oil gets run off near our pristine beaches? Yeah? Because I'll tell you something, they don't care about your pristine beaches. They don't care about those people's lives. We need to, I don't know, I mean, regardless of which way we go, whether we go with socialism or with capitalism or with a mix like in Europe. I mean, we have a beautiful mix of capitalism and socialism here, and it just works for them perfectly. I can't help but think that we need to make sure we keep these bloodsuckers out of those boardroom meetings. I mean, let's face it, we can't just ignore capitalism. Capitalism is important. Capitalism is what's going to make Africa rich. We can then really hold the sword to the necks of these people over there in the West who need our resources, and those guys over there in the East, all those people that need our resources to survive. We can really make sure we get top dollar for every pen, for everything, every gram of mineral ore that we sell to everybody. So what does socialism give us here in Europe? Well, socialism gives us some of the best healthcare in the world without having to chop off an arm and a leg in order to pay for it. We don't have to get a mortgage. We don't have to worry about those types of things. The Netherlands has two powerful companies who are the main companies that do the health insurance for the people of the Netherlands. They are forced to make a specific profit margin. They are not allowed to go above that profit margin. And that rule was put in place by the people of the Netherlands. They put that in place so that the insurance companies couldn't go all out of hand and start charging them ridiculous amounts of money for health insurance. So how are the people of the Netherlands able to do this? Well, guess who owns those insurance companies? Well, that's it, the people of the Netherlands. They own the insurance companies. It's not government run, it's not government owned, it is owned by the general public in the Netherlands. So that's one aspect where it will help us. I think health is paramount in order for Africa to thrive in the future. If we don't have a good health service or a good health system throughout the continent, we are going to struggle. Because the reason why you get a huge dosing of people over here, I know people don't want to hear this, but the reason why people think the intelligence is over here, it's because these people don't have to worry about health, they don't have to worry about food, they don't have to worry about that type of thing. All they got to worry about is getting their butts to school. They don't have to pay for school here. They don't have to pay for anything. So when you can focus on something other than surviving and focus on something other than just making sure that your family can put a meal on the table, the mind is an incredible thing. It will just thrive. In Europe, we have the perfect mix of both socialism and capitalism, and we have the capitalism that pays for the socialism. Okay, the Americans will always boast about their army being the most powerful in the world. They spend $1 trillion on their army each year. But what they don't realize is that 40% of that money is all administration. Payments, that sort of thing. It's not getting spent on weapons. 40% of that. And what else you got to remember is that these private companies like Lockheed and Boeing, all these private weapons manufacturers are charging the government whatever they want. They're giving them a blank check, essentially, to make these weapons. Okay? Capitalism. It's working. For a few. Now, I realize that when I say the word socialism, everybody thinks it's a dirty thing, especially you guys over there in the States. You probably think it has a bad rep, but I think it's essential. It's absolutely essential for the growth of Africa that we use our resources to take care of the people. Isn't that logical? So when it comes to this question, I think we've already answered this. We need the perfect mix of both socialism and capitalism on the continent. And I think this goes for all the countries on the continent. We have it in the entire continent here in Europe. It's a continental thing, it shouldn't be exclusive to any one country. And I think America is a good example of why we shouldn't go on a purely capitalistic system, especially in Africa. You know what the guys are like out here, the people who are in power out there in Africa, they don't care about the people. They care about lining their own pockets. This is why Nigeria has the highest paid politicians on the planet. Okay? We can't have just capitalism in Africa. We need a mix. We can't have just socialism either, of course, because if we just have socialism, we're not going to grow as fast, okay? And we have hard-working, industrious people there on the continent. So why not take advantage of that? Take advantage of it and build a superpower. Hey, at some point we're going to have to get some payback for what they did to us. You know, the things that they did to us down, sinking whole families to the bottom of the Atlantic just so they didn't get fined. They deserve payback. We're not going to do it with a purely socialistic system. We need a good combination of the both. So what do you guys think? Do you think capitalism is for the continent? Do you think we should have socialism? Do you think we're right? We should have a mix? Maybe we should just use a system which is purely African, which has come from us. Our ancestors did extremely well without capitalism and without socialism. They did very well. They were the most powerful people on this planet. So, what do you think is best? Let me know in the comments section. You got any questions? Please let me know in the comments section. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for listening and thank you for subscribing, and I'll get back to you. I'll see you in the next one. Think twice. Ta-ra a bit.